Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Sometimes not obviously at first, but there was a book I showed last time. It shows Linnea's got a necklace she's made with a string, and she's got the two seeds of the maple attached to it, maybe with a thread, and there's two red berries. I wasn't sure what those red berries were, but in this story, which doesn't involve Linnea, it involves Anna, there's a picture in here of her that I used at the very end along with the rowan tree. And I realized that maybe they're rowan berries that she's got in. Well, I don't know. It's hard to know. But I also liked that they put in, you see a tree, but there's so many leaves that you maybe don't pay a lot of attention to it, but look at the simple pattern that they've got here. 4 leaves on each side, and one there. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to read too much into it. In this book, Anna's Garden Songs, there was a picture in it that was of a cabbage, and there's the caterpillar that likes to chew holes in cabbage leaves. One's not a problem. Many would be a problem. They're laid by the cabbage white butterfly. And when I saw that, I was thinking, hey, I got a book about the cabbage fly butterfly. And it's called Butterfly and Caterpillar by Barry Watts. Now, there's a wonderful photographs. Barry does the photographs and writes a description. So the eggs are laid in a cluster on the bottom side of the leaf, so they won't be apparent to birds, I'm assuming. And as they start to hatch, as they are doing here, the caterpillars emerge. Now, the photograph shows the eggs very large. In real life, the eggs are about the size of a pinhead. So that tiny. But isn't it great that you can take that, enlarge that like that? The marvels of photography. Morning Glories. Now, this is a whole series of books put out by this company, and they're always, at least to my thinking, filled with information. And here's looking at the Morning Glory seed cut. So you can see that there's 6 sections to it. But as it grows, it starts to dry out and things, but this particular photo isn't of this cutting. This is of a different one when there were only 5. And that raised the question, well, why is there only 5 in that one? And the suggestion they give here is that one of them was not fertilized. The next page shows a whole bunch of them. You can't tell the outside color of the seeds, but it certainly reminds me of chocolate chips. So Anyway, the morning glory is a neat flower. I used to take a bus to work at one place where I taught, and I'd go down in the warm months, and there would be the morning glory that I'd see while waiting at the bus stop. Later on in the day, it would be closed up. Roses red, violets blue. Now, this is done by the same two people, Sylvia Johnson and Yuko Sato. And Yuko was studying the crab spider, which often gets and hides in the flower. And she noticed that they seem to be able to match their color in many cases to the color of the flower. I've seen many of them that are white, but here's one that's yellow. I don't know if you can make it out, but there's one leg there and one leg there, and the other 6 are down here. And they lurk there waiting for honeybees. So, I'm just going to show you these books pretty quickly, and you can check further to see what you maybe can find. This is one has got photographs of zucchini. Here's a tomato, and the tomato will develop from the inside part of the flower. But for zucchinis, the flower will happen, and the zucchini will develop from where the stem goes into the flower. Large print, but interesting things in it. This is also for vegetables in general. It's looks like here's cucumber and pumpkin and butternut and acorn squash, and the write-ups have a lot of fascinating information, historical information and things like that. It might not be the best starting book in that more words and pictures, but and even the words might be better. It might be better for like a 10-year-old or 11-year-old. It says it's a first book, Barbara Beck, with the illustrations by Paige Carey. They're lovely illustrations, but I'd almost think that this book might be a better first book. But that's a matter of semantics, I guess. Millicent Selsom. I just want you to sort of know some of the people who specialized in these kinds of books. This one, Bulbs, Corms, and Such, with Jerome Wexler doing the photographs. Here they've teamed up for vegetables from stems and leaves. And here's one called Peanut. Now, there's another person that did the book about the cabbage white butterfly. Barry Watts did one on the dandelion, the tomato, the potato, and the bean and plant. Now, here's another book from the people at Lerner. This is by Cynthia Overbeck, and it's on the sunflower. We saw that at the end of one of those children's books, the birds coming in the winter. But there's insects that come too, and here's a book that's I would say is for adults. A journey through rice lands of Asia and Australia. Now, all those tiered rice paddies, it's amazing the tradition and the years and the building up of that, the history. Here's a page I wanted to show you, though. It's right in the first, and it shows the country where rice is the cultural staple in their diet. China, Japan grows rice, India grows rice, Burma, Cambodia, Thailand, much of Indonesia, the Philippines, Australia, Tasmania. Now they show New Zealand, but it doesn't show it as a place where rice is grown. It's maybe just a little further south or colder. It's interesting to see how far rice is grown further north than any of the islands of Japan. But it's quite a pictorial study, and it looks at it from old traditions as well as new traditions. And it's my understanding rice is grown in California and also in Louisiana. Needs water. So there's must be areas in California that aren't short of water. Catnip. Millicent Selsom and Jerome Wexler. Not a food crop. Neither is cotton, but it's a huge crop. Then carnivorous plants and plants that eat animals. This is by Bentley, and this is by I think it's by Cynthia Overbeck, yeah, with a different photographer. And here's a couple of other sort of tall tales. Mrs. Gaddy and the Fast-Growing Vine. It's by Wilson Gage. And here's Squash Pie by Wilson Gage. Different illustrator. This is Glenn Rounds, and this is Marilyn Hafner. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, when we're going to look at books for older readers, adults. Thanks so much. Bye for now.